Well, Armstrong, I'm happy to be with you to continue to try to encourage all members of society to make their objective to be peace, to make their objective to be tolerance, to make their objective to be to respect their fellow human beings, their fellow brothers and sisters, regardless of their skin color, their ethnicity, their religious beliefs, or their sexual preferences. Let's respect them all as human beings. Right now, I am preaching and praying and cheering for humanity to rise above all the chaos that's happening in that part of the world. And I pray constantly for peace in the Middle East because I'm sure those families there want their children and their loved ones to be able to live in a safe environment where they're free of murder and rape and kidnapping. They just want what we all want, our families to be able to live, to learn, and to love, and to grow.
Just imagine this, America. Imagine, and our brother Ben Crump represented the family of George Floyd. Just imagine when you saw Derek Chauvin's knee on George's neck that whites decided to go out and have a march and rally celebrating the fact that Derek Chauvin killed George Floyd. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine after Al-Qaeda and hit the Twin Towers in New York that Putin issued some kind of memorandum celebrating Al-Qaeda for destroying America's way of life? Listen, you've got to have compassion because listen, there are so many innocent Palestinians who don't reflect what their leaders Hamas are doing. It's always 95% of the time, innocent civilians always die at these wars and these conflicts and wars that these people never chose. They had no decision in that process. When are we going to find the best of our humanity, Attorney Crump?
Well, we're going to find it when great leaders, not leaders who are trying to gain political expediency, but great leaders find a way to bring people together versus dividing us. It's always easy, Armstrong Williams, to divide people, but why we call leaders like Martin Luther King and like Gandhi great is because they were able to bring people together. They were able to bring people to the table. And even though they may have had disagreements, they were not disagreeable. Right now in society, we seem to be slipping into a facade that if you don't agree with me, then I must hate you. No, that's not how we are able to give our children a better world. We have to give our children a better world where we champion diplomacy, we champion diversity, we champion intellect. And those are the things that are most important now. We have to champion humanity now more than ever in the Middle East, in the United States, and all over the world. And what is humanity? Humanity is looking at a fellow human being and seeing the best in them, not seeing the worst in them.
It really comes down to an issue of morality. I know your mother, I know your family, and one of the things and you knew my family, one of the things that they stressed to us was morality. You have what is called as legal, you have what is called as ethical, which is ethical, but morality transcends it all because there's something within us that if we see a child suffering, we feel like we want to do something. If we see somebody being kidnapped or harmed, or we see these images on TV, you say, oh my, what in the name of God is happening to us? What is happening to us? You want to care for one another because you never know what you're going to need and who you're going to need to care for you or to bring you out of your strife someday. No one else ever know who's going to rescue us or save us during our time of despair, Attorney Crump.
Yeah, it makes you quote Marvin Gaye, what's going on? Because right now, we have to talk about getting back to our moral compass. When we think about what Dr. King put in that letter from the Birmingham jail, he said, we can't call ourselves good people. We can't call ourselves moral people when we see injustice and we look the other way. He said, if you're going to call yourself a good person, you can't see evil and evil acts and look the other way and say that don't involve me and my family. So now when we see violence, no matter who is committing the violence, we have a moral obligation as moral people to speak up and to condemn it, to not be silent, because silence is betrayal to humanity.
You know, I think what some people, when they're watching you today and they're hearing you and seeing you as never before, they say, well, Attorney Crump always represents black people because they're always being abused and disrespected and killed by either police officers or the other whites. No, you represent people who have faced injustices through bigotry and through ignorance. And it's just not about black people. There are people of all walks of life that you represent, because your purpose and what you do in the legal world, you represent people that have been disenfranchised, and your responsibility is make sure that they get justice and find some way to help them heal those wounds from those injustices. It's not black and white.
It's never been about black and white. It has always been about equality and justice for all. And that's not exclusive to any race, any ethnicity, any religion. It's about equality. It's about trying to say that I want my children too to have an equal opportunity at the American dream. I want my children too to have an equal opportunity to live out the fulfillment of destiny that God has for them. And Armstrong, you are so right, my brother, and we often talk about these things. We have to always speak truth to power, no matter what the truth is. We have to be courageous enough to say it. I mean, that's what true leaders do. And now I believe we always have to try to be diplomatic. You always have to try to be respectful. And when you speak truth to power, one thing I never do is try to yell, Armstrong. I try to speak truth to power. And if it is the truth, you don't have to yell. You can say it as plainly, as calmly as possible, because everybody in their hearts know what the right thing is to do. And the only question ever is, do you have the courage to do the right thing, even when it's unpopular, even when they call you controversial, even when they say you will be attacked for it? Well, the great leaders still speak truth. And that's why you and I always have enlightened conversations, because I appreciate when you speak the truth, and I hope you appreciate when I speak the truth. And I know we don't always agree on things, but we at least agree to learn from one another and to listen to one another. That's what we need in the world now. That's what we need in the Middle East. That's what we need in America. We need to try to listen to one another and learn from one another versus just condemning and attacking one another.
You know, Attorney Crump couldn't have said it better. I don't really care about his politics and whether he's a Democrat. I value the fact that he was created by the same God that created me. He's a human being. He's decent. He's for the greater good. And greater good can come from anybody. And the greater good does not wear labels, and they're not stereotypes. So I so much appreciate Attorney Crump joining us today to bring a voice of understanding and reasoning to heal these wounds that we're seeing all around the world. Attorney Crump, thank you so much for joining us, brother.
Thank you, Armstrong, for using your influence on the world stage today.